The Denver Lions Club is one of the oldest clubs in the state, having been chartered in June of 1917. It's still the largest club in the state of Colorado, but in the 60s it was the largest Lions Club in the world.
The Denver Lions Club provides a number of services. I would say they fall mostly under the umbrella of site-related issues and recognizing that a special focus on children or youth and the underserved.
The slogan comes right out of World War I, when there was apparently quite an impetus among men in the United States who wanted to do something for their communities. During the war itself, people felt somewhat helpless, and so they decided to do things in their own community.
I have been a member of the Denver Lions Club for just over a year now. I cared very much for my grandfather, my maternal grandfather. It's one of the reasons that I care so much about the Denver Lions Club and Lions Club in general. My grandfather was a member of the Lions Club in a small town in Colorado, and I never really knew what he did. So I met another member, Bob Sweeney, at a holiday party, and he had a Lions pin on. And he invited me to come on down, and I was open for it. And here's this guy of great stature that's asking me to come join him for lunch. I'm gonna say yes.
I was a Lion in Craig as a young man. I joined the Lions Club. I walked in the door as a guest and walked out the door as secretary. And I was like 21 years old. And Lions was very enriching to me, and it was a great advantage to me in my career in the newspaper world. I learned how to network with people. It enriched my life immensely, and it helped me to enrich the lives of others through Lionism. And it's a great opportunity for a young person. And in Lionism, you really make your friends by working on projects, on going out and helping people. That's where you really make firm bonds with people and get the satisfaction of actually hands-on of helping people.
From the very beginning, Lions were set up as an organization that was part of what Lions do was supposed to have fun. At the 8th International Convention, which was held in Omaha, Nebraska, in 1924, in July, the Denver Club arranged to have a rail car full of snow shipped to Omaha, where the Lions were going to have the Parade of Nations. And as the parade went by, they started throwing snowballs. And everybody got into this, and eventually there was a gigantic snowball fight. The local media in Omaha was filming this. Denver Lions arranged to buy a copy of that film. They brought it back to Denver, and they had it shown in the local theaters, and the theaters donated a portion of the ticket price back to the club. So that was an early prank, and perhaps one of the best ones.
Dear Lions and ladies,
Helen Keller probably changed the course of Lions around the world, because in 1925, Helen Keller was the featured speaker at the Lions International Convention. Up to that point in time, the Lions did not have a central focus for their community service. But Helen Keller, who was of course blind and deaf, made a very impassioned speech at that convention.
will you not help me hasten the day when there will be no preventable blindness, no little deaf blind child untaught, no blind man or woman unaided. I appeal to you, Lions, you who have your sight, you who are strong and kind and brave. Will you not constitute yourselves as knights of the blind in the crusade against darkness?
And so the Lions adopted site and site conservation as a major focus for Lions, and it remains a major focus to this day.
In the vision area, there's KidSite, there is what we call Glasses for the Masses, so we collect glasses and then we work with organizations to distribute them to people in need who have sight issues. We do a number of things where we partner with other community or nonprofits or agencies, so if somebody really needs an eye surgery, we sometimes can help them afford it, as well as put them in touch with other organizations that maybe the Denver Den didn't start, but Lions in general did, like the Rocky Mountain Lions Eye Institute.
Remley, the Rocky Mountain Lions Eye Institute, became from a meeting we had at Cherry Hills Country Club in about 1990, where about 8 Lions, spearheaded by the moderator Rod Wicklund, we all put $100 on a table and said, let's see if we can do an Eye Institute here in Denver. And it's very successful. And today the Eye Institute is now called the Eye Center in the Rocky Mountain Lions Institute building and serves over 100,000 people a year. There were 5 doctors then, now there are 50. The Lions led the way, and from that, we have a $1 billion campus in Denver today, all from the Lions starting the Rocky Mountain Lions Eye Institute.
The poverty level here in Denver is amazing. We have problems here in our backyard. I believe that people sometimes they don't want to go to these different neighborhoods where the need is there. Sun Valley is right here in the heart of Denver. And to see these little kids that they don't have the basic needs that a normal other kid would have, it just breaks my heart. And is in that level of poverty is right here in the heart of downtown Denver.
In the Sun Valley neighborhood, there's 15 homes that are owned privately. 90% of the residents that live here are part of the public housing. In the Sun Valley neighborhood, 68% of the population is under the age of 18. And out of that population, 50% of that is under the age of 5. There are only the Rudy Park Early Learning Center and Catholic Charities that serve infants, toddlers, and preschoolers. So they have to go outside the neighborhood, which is very far, to find high quality care. And Mile High Early Learning in the collaboration with the Lions Club has been that's what we are bringing to this neighborhood is high quality education for children and families. The entire Rudy Park Lions Club board, they're a partner with me. I meet with them every single month and let them know what's going on and what are the successes and what are the challenges and they really support us on making sure that we are doing the best that we can for kids.
Savio House is a project that this club got involved with many years ago and continues to support that. And Savio House is an organization that works with at-risk youth.
The Denver Lions Club plays a huge role for Savio House. We have a large percentage of our board. There are 9 board members, and 5 of those are Denver Lions Club members. And so, I think that we feel really privileged to have such people on our board, and they come from all different walks of life and all kinds of different professions, and they offer us such a resource.
My involvement with the Denver Lions Club is currently I'm on the board of directors for the club now. I got involved with the Lions Club because of my past. I was a Savio House client at one time. I was a bad kid back when I was young. I was raised up by a single mom. When we moved here to Colorado, Dad left us. Mom was trying to go to school at the same time. So pretty much the streets raised me. I started going through juvenile hall, and they were sending me to different little places, but I wasn't making it. And so I had one more chance, which was Savio House. Savio House was the last place you go before you go up to Lookout Mountain, prison. I had a little racism in me, and it's not because of something my mom taught me, but it was my neighborhood. And so I got to Savio House, and they broke me from that. I got a chance to see who everybody was and not what I thought they was or what somebody told me they were. They force you. They force you to understand what you need to do. I remember the Denver Lions coming through there. I believe it was once a month. They would come, they would have their meetings there. And I got to meet those guys, some of those old fellas, man, and they were really, really kind. They were different than what I thought they would be, being businessmen and being where I came from. A typical Denver Lion, in my opinion, in my experience, is somebody who loves to give back, who wants to pull their community up, who wants to help the people who's not fortunate enough to help themselves on basic things like seeing, glasses, even just giving them food, so they can eat. And I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of a community, of a club who their only motive is to make sure the community is okay.
In our international program, we have done missions in several countries where we are teaming up with local Lions clubs, and we bring some of our own volunteers, but we also usually bring recycled eyeglasses from our recycling center.
That first international mission to Ecuador, we went into Ambato where Susie has friends. There were very few children that had any kind of glasses. In fact, at that particular school, I don't recall any of them having glasses. Near the end of the week when we went into a school, actually I think it was in Quito, we started screening these children. And this one particular young boy was very upset initially when they first started to screen him. We just did some rudimentary screening. We had a little device that we screened them with, and then we asked them to look at an eye chart. And then we were blessed to have an eye doctor from Mexico that actually accompanied us on that trip, and she examined him as well. He was really upset though, he was distraught. I mean, putting on a scene, crying, very upset about being screened. Susie later related to me that she'd heard something along the lines that he knew his family couldn't afford glasses, so he didn't want to be bothered. He needed severe correction. He needed a +12 correction, which is just off the charts. I mean, he's veritably blind. So we were able to fit those glasses on him, and he started to settle down a little bit. And then he went back to his classroom. Well, after a few moments, I said, why don't we go over to his classroom? And when we first got into the room, the little boy was sitting over at his table and didn't want to move because he had his head in a book, and he was just transfixed with that book. And we went over because he said to Susie that it was the first time he could ever see the words. We've been so blessed to live in this country and to do as well as we've done, and for us to give back and to help others that aren't as fortunate as we are is very gratifying. I joined the Lions Club when I was 32 years old, and I'm 62 today, and so I've spent over half my life, or nearly half my life, being a Lion, and I've enjoyed it very much.
I first heard about the trip to Senegal through my mom. My mom asked me, do you want to go home? And I said, of course, I would love to be a part of a medical mission to Africa. We were at the airport and we got outside and we hear people and kids screaming, taking pictures, stopping us even before the exit. It was nice, but to feel welcomed there. But I definitely saw a lot of kids, there was this old soccer ball, but all that outer covering was missing, so it was just like a foam ball. But little kids were playing with it and they would fight for it because it was the only ball they had. We drove up to the place and there was this big line just encircling, and all these people just cheering and wanting to shake our hands. And there was this young girl, maybe she was 7 or 8. She came in with her mom carrying her because she couldn't walk, she couldn't see where she was going, and she would always fall. But she has never gone to school because she couldn't see. We measured her, we did her reading, and it was of legal blindness for a child. Fortunately, we did have glasses with that measurement. I put them on her, and she looked shocked but smiling, just like, oh my goodness, somebody turned on the lights. I had never seen that before in my life. It was, I don't know how to describe it. I mean, just like to have been there. I mean, to see that. I definitely think, that's what we have to do on this earth. We have to take care of each other. We have to make sure that everybody's okay.
You know, we've actually tried to come up with an estimate of how many people we are able to serve in a year. We had some of our members sit down, scratch their heads, and they came up with 100,000 people that we serve in one way or another each year in the Denver metro area.
As a woman, I think that we need to belong to a service organizations because at some time in our lives, we are going to become mothers. And I think it's our responsibility as a mother to raise kids to become as citizens of the world. Joining this great organization and being part of these projects that we have, how much they can help you to change your life and to see the world with different eyes.